vector drawing that is a self-portrait. So here is a picture of me. I'm going to take it and just drop it right onto Illustrator. And wait for however long it takes to load. All right, there is my picture. Now, you might drop your picture into Illustrator and it might be like way too big for your artboard. And there are a couple things you can do about that. If you have this selected, you can go to the artboard and you can change the artboard to fit the size of your picture. And I don't remember exactly where that is in here. Not in Pathfinder, of course. Preferences, and anyway, doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you a different way to do it. If you have your picture selected, then you just hold Shift and you hold Option as well. You can make your picture the size that you want. If I do Command 0, then I zoom in to my picture, to my artboard. Now, I am going to just get started here. I'm going to go to my layers and I'm going to add a layer. So I've got my picture on one layer and then I have this other layer, and that's going to be where I'm going to draw my drawing. You can call it art, drawing, whatever you want to call it. But that's going to be the layer where I'm going to draw. Now I'm going to select my picture just by clicking on it using the black arrow. And I am going to change the opacity of this picture so that it's a little bit easier for me to see what I'm drawing on top of it. So I'm going to go to this transparency here. If you don't have any of these windows here, just go to Window and you can find it in here. So there's properties. I think that might change your, well, anyway, there's all of those windows that you need. There they are. So I go to transparency. I've got my picture selected, and I usually go to about 50–60%. It just depends on the picture. And then go to my layers and I lock that layer. So now I can't move it at all. I go to my art layer, so that's the one that's selected, and now I'm going to start drawing. Usually when I draw, I use the pencil tool if it's like a face or something like that. If I'm drawing a car or a building or something with lots of straight lines or curved lines that are very specific and like mathematic, I will use the pen tool quite a bit for those kinds of applications. But for just like a face like this, I will use almost exclusively the pencil tool. Now, if you're looking over here, I don't see the pencil tool anywhere. If you just push N, that'll give you your pencil tool, and there it is right there. So that might be that you use this tool or something, and then there's all this other stuff going on in there. But if you want to use the pencil tool, it's N. I'm also going to change so that I have a stroke instead of a fill. So, and I want that stroke to be black. So I make a black stroke, I put the fill to nothing, and then now I'm ready to get started. Now, if I don't like how this pencil looks, and I'd rather draw with a like a little crosshair kind of thing, if you push caps lock, it'll switch between using this X, and that'll show me where I'm drawing, or I can use the pencil, and that'll show me where I'm drawing, like that. All right, now I'm going to just delete. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw the important parts of my face here. I like to start with the eyes. I don't know why, but I just do. And so notice how I can draw my eye here. I'm drawing kind of the darkest areas first. And notice how I can draw a bit of it, and then I can let go of my pencil, and then I can come back. See how there's that little asterisk thing? If I have the asterisk going and I draw, that pencil won't connect. I'm pushing delete here to make that go away. But if I have my drawing selected and the asterisk goes away, then I can keep drawing on that and it'll remain part of that shape. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a little bit more here. This is probably going to be more black than I want. All right, now when I have the shape all set, I'm ready to go. I usually use Shift X, and what Shift X does, you can see that over here in the fill and stroke area, is it swaps the fill and the stroke. So if I want this to be black, I just do Shift X, and it'll do that. I do Shift Command A to deselect everything. I'm going to do this highlight here, and I'm going to change that to white. And then I'm going to do my pupil, and I'm going to make that black. And I'm going to move this to the back. So I can go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back, or Send Backward. Usually, if I'm in a situation like this, I'll just send it all the way to the back. If you send it backwards, it just sends it back one level, and that might not be enough depending on what you're working on. So I'm going to draw a little bit more of this, the outline of the eye here. And then, now if I was doing this as for a client, if I was getting paid for this, I would be a lot more detailed with the eye here. I would, do the little, how the eye has these this array coming out from the pupil. But since we're just kind of doing this here for a demo, I'm not going to worry about it too much. But there is my brown eye. Shift Command All to deselect everything. And there you have it so far. I'm just going to do a little bit more, just so you get an idea of what's happening here. Occasionally, I'm going to make it so I can't see the background and just see what I've done so far on my drawing. This is pretty dark. I probably wouldn't make this all the way black like this if I was doing this for a project for school. But let's just do a little bit more, pushing in. I'm just doing like each important part of the face here. I'm going to make that white, and I'm going to send it to the back, which is Shift Command and then this bracket to the left here. Let's do a little bit of like my nose area here, just so you can see what that might look like. So there are several different tones of color here, or hues, that I want to try to match. So I'm going to use my pencil tool here. I just see this bit, this kind of highlight here on the nose, and I can make that white, or I can make it a little bit kind of pinkish here. I can leave that to my artist sense. Here with the nostrils, same kind of idea. Should this be that color, or should it just be black? For right now, I'm just going to make the nostrils black, and I might go back and change that later. Now I'm going to do kind of this shadow part of the nose here that comes down. So you might notice that I'm not using the stroke the way I was earlier. That's because I'm just kind of, I'm changing my fill as I'm drawing, and so that's another way that I do this as well. Now, I am about to choose a color to put here. If I wanted to pick a color from what I'm already looking at, I can do this eyedropper and click, and there it is. Now, it's also going to do the transparency that's on there, and I don't really want that. But this eyedropper tool can be pretty helpful in a lot of circumstances. But I am going to change this opacity on that. I'm going to send this to the back. And that color works all right for here, for this spot. Let me just kind of finish out the nose, and then we'll be done with this video here. Yeah, so I'll go like that. So I'm just trying to get these areas that are all kind of the same hue. And then it's a little bit lighter than this, so I'm going to use this color that I just used, and then I'm going to just kind of make it a little bit lighter. Ooh, that's a little bit too green, isn't it? There we go. And let's do a little bit more of the nose. Let's go ahead and do this area like that. My nose has a lot of different colors in it. There we go. So I'm just messing around with the color over here. And let's go ahead and do this kind of lighter part here, I think. All right, so this nose looks a little bit messy. I would go back in and kind of fix some of this to make it a little bit more nose-like. But as I continue working on this, it's going to look more and more like myself. And so I could do this for a couple hours and really work at it. But I've already done this whole thing, and so let me show you what the finished example looks like, and we'll be done with the video here. So here's what my finished project looks like when I did it before here. So you can see I'm going to select these different pieces, these kind of layers. I've picked spots that were lighter and I drew those, and kind of the mid. Notice how I drew kind of one big color for like the main color of my face, and so you can see that goes around the whole face, and then there are some darker values and lighter values that I put on top of it. So that's one way to do it, is draw kind of the whole thing, kind of the main color there, and then put some darker values on top and some lighter values on top, and then all of the other stuff on top of that. And if you are doing this for the Art 2 project, I want your original picture to be right here next to your drawing, and that's how I want to see it to grade it. And that's kind of just a quick and dirty tutorial on how to use the pencil tool to draw a self-portrait in Illustrator in a vector format. Good luck.